Morning, Xavier. Can you hear me? Doing a voice check. Can anybody hear this?
I can hear you, Tom. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't hear anybody else, and I did see
hear
one
you.
person talking.
I can hear you. This is Tom Vanover.
Thank you, Tom.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you can get started with the preamble.
Okay, in compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak when finished speaking. Please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activities being recorded by way of the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed by way of YouTube. All requests to speak in a particular matter by way of our website and email have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Mr. Jacobson.
Mr. Chairman, this is Dan Jacobson from the Law Department. Preliminary issues. Can we verify that the live stream is on and functioning? Yep, verify it. Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, as the Law Department has done since these meetings have gone virtual and or hybrid, law states its objection to the use of the chat function. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Ms. Davis.
Mr. Maschke,
Here.
Mr. Bradley,
Here.
Mr. Dink,
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
We have a call.
Okay, we'll call the first docket as an adjudication order for building docket A 396-23, 1501 Euclid Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This is an adjudication order requesting for variance to OBC 106.1.1. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Department of Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellate or his or her attorney or representatives, please state your name and your capacity to the property.
My name is
Mr. Chairman, sorry to interrupt. I'm going to need to recuse myself from this docket.
Okay, that was Mr. Dank. He will be recused from this docket. Okay, go ahead and continue.
My name is Tom Einhaus. I'm with Playhouse Square Foundation, and I represent the ownership of the Bulkley Building and the related projects within.
Are you the only one speaking, Mr. Einhaus?
No, with me today is the architect for the project, Mr. John Kaminsky, and I'll refer to him to introduce himself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Kaminsky with Van Auken Akins Architects.
Okay. All right, all those that will be giving testimony, please raise your right hand. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, whoever's going to be speaking first, go ahead and let us know.
Before we get started, Mr. Chairman, you need
Yes.
to make the 3-member announcement, please.
The what?
3 members.
Oh, okay, I think you're right. So you're right. We have only 3 members, board members, because of Mr. Dank having to recuse himself, which means that if our decision is not unanimous, which it usually is, then your appeal goes back to the city. If for that reason you prefer not to have your case heard, then let me know when we call your case, which is now, that you would like to reschedule your case.
We wish to proceed as
Okay,
as we're
very
scheduled
good.
today.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, apologies. Mr. Dan can still be seen on the screen before we start. Yeah. So he'll be moved to a lobby. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
I'd like to
Thank you.
speak, just give a quick overview of the project and then defer to Mr. Kaminsky to get into the specifics of what we're dealing with here. We're in the process, and I believe this committee has heard from us recently, of a complete renovation of the Bulkley Building, which includes 4 floors of residential, new elevators, sprinklering, comprehensive facade restoration, and the inclusion of non-residential in Eaton on the 8th and 9th floors. Currently, throughout history, the 9th floor of that building had been served by an ADA chair along a stairway. This renovation would call for the use of a Lula ADA elevator to go between the 8th and 9th floors. What we're asking for a variance on is the requirement or request that the gurney elevator being installed for the residential floors not only stop at the 8th floor, but be extended to the 9th floor. We had looked carefully at extending elevator service to the 9th floor through the existing elevator bank, and found it to be extraordinarily difficult to overcome for structural reasons. The expense was extraordinary. It would almost require building an additional floor onto the building. So we feel that the Lula elevator, ADA lift, serves the purpose. So that's the purpose of our variance request today. John, I defer to you to fill in the details.
Thanks, Tom. That was a pretty good summary of how we got to where we're at today. So you're looking currently on the screen at the new floor plan for the 9th floor. So you can see where we've created a new door access into the existing stairwell, which is along column line 10 and column line D. That's a new door into the existing egress stairwell that feeds all the way down to the grade at the street level. We've also created a second means of egress by creating a kind of spiral stair that you can kind of see towards the middle bottom of the floor plan, which is adjacent to the new Lula elevator that we're proposing to use that would go from the 8th floor to the 9th floor. Can you switch to the first PDF that you were showing that shows the section through? Yes, right there. Thank you. So this is an existing building section. If we can zoom in on, I'm not sure if you can zoom in or not on the red kind of markup that I have there or not. But basically that is the existing building construction where the existing elevator machine room floor is only 7'6" above the existing 8th floor. There's structure that would prevent us from putting the elevator all the way up to the 9th floor, as Tom had mentioned. And even if we tried to put an elevator door in here, we'd be limited to about 4'8" in height due to the existing structure that is limiting us there. So in our opinion, we are providing an additional second means of egress with the spiral staircase to get us from the 9th floor to the 8th floor. We provided the new door into the existing stairwell, and we're providing the Lula elevator. If you can go to the 7th floor plan that was included with what I had sent over. I just want to point out some limitations we have as well with providing an actual full-blown commercial elevator. Go one more. One more. And there should be one more sheet, I believe. No. Maybe it was before the building section. I apologize. Okay, it must have got missed, but basically the Lula elevator, the elevator pit depth that is required for the Lula only requires about a 15 to 16 inch pit depth. If we had to go with a larger gurney size elevator, that pit depth would be 4 to 5 feet deep, which would be well into the the apartment that is directly below that location. So that was another reason we're requesting the variance. Basically the space below would be unusable for the apartment.
Okay, that's the presentation, and I'm gonna kick it back over to Mr. Vanover.
So, Mr. Chairman, I just want to bear with me a second. I want to clear up. This is the adjudication order. Clear this up from Ms. Davis mostly. The adjudication order issued November 21st, 2023. We are speaking specifically about item number 3, which is non-compliance with Ohio Building Code Section 3002.4. This adjudication, this is not the only item on the adjudication order. So I just want to make sure that the board is aware that any variance approved does not include the balance of the adjudication order, but this one specific item.
My apologies. You are.
No, that's okay. There's a lot on here. So that, but just for the purpose of the resolution. So their testimony is that it's infeasible to do. Looking at the drawings, that's not inaccurate in that the structural space of the existing building below the elevator does make it, it makes it infeasible to do in that space, in that place. I do have a few questions, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate. So the only access from the 8th floor to the 9th floor is through a spiral stair?
No, that is not correct. There's two there are two stairwells that serve this floor now. There's the existing egress stair that is enclosed with a 2-hour fire barrier, and then the
Okay.
spiral staircase also is the secondary means of egress from that floor.
Okay, all right. So is there, when one goes from the 9th floor to the 8th floor, is there access to the residential elevators at that point?
That is correct. When you come down the spiral staircase, it basically leads you into the elevator lobby of the 8th floor.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Ohio Building Code requires that any building that is, has unoccupied floor 4 or more stories above grade, that the elevator and an elevator exists, that it is required to have a gurney compliant elevator. I would ask that any variance being sought be included with a clear plan that is posted and included in the Fire Command Center that educates first responders on how to bring people from the 9th floor to the 8th floor, and then get into a gurney compliant elevator at that point. The intent of this portion of the code is so that first responders do not have to carry people down multiple flights of stairs. So if the plan is to take them from the 9th floor through the egress stair to the 8th floor and then use the elevator from there, that plan would need to be identified, incorporated in their project safety plan, in our plans for approval, as well as in the Fire Command Center.
Okay, and with the signage and that being put into the plans, then you would be in support of the variance. You would not be opposed to it with the plans being included.
Yeah, we would not object
Okay.
based strictly on the infeasibility of the structural infeasibility, as you know, the cost of things is never a viable excuse to not comply with the code. But in this particular case, in this particular building, it is structurally infeasible to do this here.
Okay. All right, so the requirement would be to grant the variance with the posting in the command center and probably on that 9th floor, and that so it would be understood by first responders or anyone what they need to do if they have a situation that would occur on the 9th floor. And so they would be abreast of what's necessary to get to the 8th to bring the person down. So that would need to be in place, and plus in the plans also, that would have to be noted. So with that in place, a motion is in order to grant that variance with that in place.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Maskey. Okay, second by Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, the notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. I believe that takes care of what we had to do on that particular docket. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, discussion.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, I was also under the impression that there was appeal in place for the fire adjudication order issued November 14th.
Was this regarding the fire line?
The fire line.
Yes. We're working through the consolidation, building consolidation work that we need to do. And we will follow up shortly on that piece.
Okay,
So there's no expectation of a variance for item number 4 on the November 14th, 2023 adjudication order requiring the water supply to be on the premises?
That's not.
Discussion?
Yeah.
Mi-
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that's a different docket number that isn't before the board on
Okay.
today's agenda.
Thank you.
I apologize about that.
All right.
okay.
In other words,
I think he was just looking for information, but that's fine.
I was
That's not.
actually hoping to get them all wrapped up together.
Oh,
If it's not
okay.
before us, then it's not before us, so.
All right. Okay.
Apologize. We will follow up at one of the next 2 meetings to address that one, if that's okay.
Yes. That'll be fine. Okay, that takes care of this docket. Next docket is an adjudication order, housing, pool and spa, docket A2524 on 2501 Portman Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This is an adjudication order requesting for variance. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover. Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Patrick Cummings.
Did you?
Okay. You're the only one giving testimony, Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Okay, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and explain what you're going to be doing here.
The current spa that has been in location for 30 plus years, it has been replaced once due to age. It was there when I moved in. It's used quite oftenly by my wife, definitely who has rheumatoid arthritis. Basically, is the distance to border is smaller than specified. That is a waiver, I guess I'm working at.
Okay, and what is your ask of the board?
Permission to keep it there.
David?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is adjudication order issued February 2nd,
Yes.
2024.
Okay, go ahead.
Specifically, the item being addressed is item number 3. The pool shall not be located less than 10 feet from any property line. What is the distance of the pool from the property line?
I believe the western side would be approximately 4 feet. And the rear, which would be the southern side, would be approximately 6 feet.
And this is Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, this is a swimming pool or this is a jacuzzi spa?
It's a spa.
It's a spa. Do you know Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, do you know the dimensions of the spa?
Yes, it is 8 by 8, 34 inches tall. It contains 513 gallons.
And is, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, the expectation is to fence the yard in as is required in the adjudication order?
Correct. The yard is currently fenced in. One of the items up is the rear fence. which was 6 foot 6 inches. Originally, I was going to keep that and ask for it to be okayed. I've recently, though, gotten estimates on a complete fence from an outside company to enclose it at the 6 foot height.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman and to the appellate, with the understanding that the yard's gonna be completely fenced in and, with a 6 foot fence, per the requirements, and that's actually a zoning code requirement, so that this board, it would actually be a whole other appeal. But with the understanding that the yard is going to be fenced in, we do not object to variance to item number 3 on this adjudication order.
Okay, motion is in order to grant the variance, with the understanding that the 6 foot fence will be installed and that the distances are 6 feet and 4 feet. So we would go ahead and approve that variance. Motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Maskey, second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley, Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're good. Have a great.
You too. Thanks again.
Okay, so the board now only has 3 board members, which means that if our decision is not unanimous, which it usually is, then your appeal goes back to the city. If for that reason you prefer not to have your case heard, then let me know when we call the case that you would like to reschedule your case. So the next docket is on bridges. So I guess what we would do is call up the first case and see where we go from there. So the bridge docket A 250-23, 86 MLK Boulevard, Cleveland, Ohio, also known as East Boulevard South at Cedar City Bridge. Go ahead.
Application and fees are in order. This is a notice of violation of exterior maintenance issued on August 29th of 2023. Appeal was received September 28th of 2023. Requesting for a withdrawal or dismissal of the notice of violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Department of Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name and your capacity to the company.
Yes, good morning. This is Jamie Carnes. I'm an attorney with Shoemaker, Loop and Kendrick, and I represent CSX Transportation.
Good morning. This is Patrick Dover. I'm in-house attorney at CSX Transportation.
Okay, so it's the two of you will be given testimony. Would solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Who's ever going to be giving testimony?
Yes, I mean, just to be clear, Mr. Chairman, we had put in a request last week along with the city to postpone a hearing on these 17 violations until a later date. We had been working with the city to schedule a meeting to try to come to some resolution of both these and any future issues that arise with railroad bridges. There are various legal issues regarding federal preemption at play, which is why we appealed. And rather than addressing those, we've been in the process with the city of sitting down and trying to work through those. So what we're seeing is a postponement of the hearing.
Okay. Is the city, are you on board with this, Mr. Vanover?
Mr. Gallagher, Dan
Yes.
Jacobson from Law. I just wanted to confirm that both Patrick Dover and James Carnes have been sworn in. I didn't.
They have been, yes.
Okay. Yes, the city is in possession of communications between the Chief of Code Enforcement, David Roberts, and Attorney Carnes regarding agreeing to continue the matters.
Okay, then if if there's no questions from the board, we will go ahead and grant the postponement. I have no idea when that's gonna be or when it's gonna come up, but I would just say keep working on it and hopefully you guys can resolve the issue. All right, so postponement is in order. All those in favor of postponing? I don't know if we need to get a vote on that. Vishnu? Can we just postpone and be done with it?
So, Mr. Chairman, did you want to grant the continuance? So this is a joint appeal from both the city and the appellant for the continuance. Do you want to grant the continuance? Would there be a date certain we can attribute to this? Do the parties, both the city and the appellants, do you have a date in mind? Or an estimated date that the board secretary can work with for the continuance? And also, Mr. Chairman, and for the board, because our understanding is this matter was scheduled 6 months prior to this date. And in the process, a lot of other cases were not heard today. I was wondering if you want to just grant the continuance or if you wanted to speak to that. But just to the parties, if I may, Mr. Chairman, would you have a date on when, roughly when your negotiations or, your discussions when you'd have some kind of understanding on the matter and what you're trying to resolve?
Vishnu, what I heard from, I think it was Mr. Carnes, that they're working on it with the city in trying to resolve the issue. So as long as they're working on it, I am good with just letting them continue.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so that's what
So
we'll
then
do.
you can grant, yeah.
Would you say we need a motion for that or just let it continue? That's
Yes,
too Vishnu.
Yes, I think there would be a motion to
motion.
grant the
Okay.
continuance.
All right, so
By
a motion to grant the continuance.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Dank. Okay.
Discussion,
Yes, go ahead.
are you gonna read into the record? All of your dockets are being postponed or just this one?
All of those dockets that are before us are being continued.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that just for the record, that each specific docket be read off.
Okay, we can do that. So we read the first one off, and I will continue on to Bridge Docket A 252-23, 64 Quincy, Cleveland, Ohio, also known as East 105th Street City Bridge. Do you want to read all that into it, or is that good enough?
We could just do.
Just let me bring you.
The
Just the docket numbers?
Yeah, if the docket numbers are sequential and they begin with docket number A-250-23 and concluding with docket A-26623.
What gets signed out?
Okay,
I think that would be sufficient.
all right. So we'll do that. That's going with the docket A-253-23 through docket
But
A.
Mr. Chairman, correction, just to
Yes.
clarify, it's A-250.
A-250,
big events.
okay, through
VP.
A-26623
Get there.
will be
I'll
continued.
manage the doors close at 11.
Okay,
Sorry, this is Mr. Carnes, Mr. Chairman. So I'm looking at the docket on
One second.
So those are the-
So what Vanover,
They're at the same place.
could you mute your mic?
What's up?
Okay,
Did.
thank you.
Okay, Mr. Harris, what's your question?
I just, since you were reading the docket numbers off, I have them going through A266-23.
Okay, let me take a look.
That is correct. Yeah.
8266-23, that is correct.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so all those dockets through that number from A2, what did we say, 250-23, all the way through the last one. And so those will all be continued. Okay,
Mr. Maschke,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
yes. Okay, so I guess there will be a notice sent out within 2 weeks and notifying you. And go ahead and good luck and keep working on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that takes care of the whole dockets. So what we have is approval of resolutions.
That is correct.
Okay, very good. A 30723, a 36223. That would be a 362 through a 37523 and a 37723, a 37823, a 38023, a 38323. Motion.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Maskey, second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Maschke,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Approval of minutes for February 14th, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections?
No.
Motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Maskey,
Second.
second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Maschke,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, that, I believe that, is there anything else to come before us?
No.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Good news. Thanks, everybody.
All righty.